In your life, you are the general, but you are also the troops. Let's break down what that means on day 43. So in our lives, no one is telling us how to live, what to do, when to wake up. We have to run the ship when it comes to that. So as the general in our lives, truly you are the person that decides what you're going to do, how you're going to do it. You're the person that's going to come up with a strategy of what you want to be when you grow up and the tactics on how to get there. And you're going to give these orders to then the person that has to follow through on them in order to make that successful, in order to execute that plan. So the person that you're giving those orders to is the troop or the soldier, which we also are that person that then has to execute. Very interesting way to think about that in our lives. But we are the generals that make the plan, and we are also the troops that have to accept the orders and execute the plan on a day-to-day basis. So it's very important as the general to come up with a solid plan, because some people have a plan that only takes them further off track in life, which can be a disaster even if you're a good soldier and follow through on those orders. So we got to come up with a good plan, but we also have to be a good soldier in following through and executing that good plan, because you can be the best general, but if you're not a soldier that's going to follow through with those plans, it goes back to like a few days ago where no one's remembered for, the plans that they have. They're only remembered for what they actually execute. So when I break down that quote of "you are the general, but you are also the troops," it begs the question of like, how much time do we actually spend being the general in our lives, and how much time do we spend being the troop? And then how much time do we spend just wasting, not doing anything? And then also, how much time do we spend fictitiously being the general in someone else's life? I think those are kind of the four categories. And in a perfect world, you want to be, a general and the soldier half and half. Spend a lot of time making good plan and then just as much time executing that plan. But again, we seek comfort in our life, and there's a world that we have that's just built around comfort. And you can get so lost in immediate gratification and just distraction that we don't spend time planning goals, trying to create a framework of success. We just ignore that and just live day to day. And then when you have no plan, there's nothing that you feel like you really execute. There's nothing to really live for. So then days, weeks, months will go by, and you didn't spend time being the general or the soldier. So I think we really got to break that down. Not waste time, but being that general and soldier in our life. And then again, back to the fourth bucket, the fictitious soldier in other people's lives. How much time do we waste trying to dictate what others do? Again, I've talked in many videos, like, you can't be a motivation in someone's life. You can only live in a way that hopefully can inspire others, but people are on their own timelines and have their own things going on. And again, you can help and be there to support and coach and mentor and do all these really good things, but you can't be the general truly dictating what others do. That's free will, and that's up to them. So try to break that down. Let's also talk about the pitfalls. So we talked about the four buckets you could spend time: being the general, being the soldier, wasting time and doing nothing, and or fictitiously generaling others. So that's the four buckets, but let's talk about the pitfalls as well on why we don't execute being the general and the soldier. So one, on the general side, one reason that we avoid being the general is being the general feels like it can be a burden, and also being the general feels like sometimes we're unqualified, like we don't know what to do. We don't know where to go to college. We don't know what to do when we grow up. We don't know how to get out of these problems that we've dug. In order to get through that pitfall, we have to remind ourselves that we are the best general for our own life. Anyone in their life is the best general for their own life. They know themselves the best. They know their history, and they know the way their mind works. So first of all, get out of that pitfall by reminding yourself you are the best general for you. Accept it. There's a quote that I think it was a previous general actually said is, "When in command, be in command." So rely on that to always go back to reminding yourself you are the best general for you. When you have a position, like again with yourself as being a leader with yourself, when in command, be in command. Secondly, why do we avoid being a soldier? Well, as a soldier, we don't always connect with the why. Like we'll have these big plans. I got to work out, got to get in shape, got to get abs, I got to eat healthy. But if there's not truly a why behind what we're doing, if we can't connect with a true purpose, we're going to have a tendency to half do things. And we're certainly not going to be able to fight the good fight long term. We're going to get off track if we don't really connect with a why. If you've ever met someone that has really gone through some set of adversity, or someone in their family's really gone through some set of deep adversity, those people often are the ones that run the race day in and day out and are the most consistent. And you have to ask yourself why. And the answer is because they're really connecting with the why. Like someone that maybe beat drug addiction or beat some huge personal issue. Maybe they've been to prison and they're out and now, they're on this great track, or maybe they lost 200 pounds and they're, on this really healthy track. Like those types of people that have really gone through something, they're like, man, I know what it was like to do that, and I'm never going back to that again. So it's those people that really can connect with the why and have overcome things tend to be very, very strong in following through. And then there's a second reason as to why we avoid soldiering, and that is because there's not always a guarantee of success. We'll be like starting the workouts again, we'll be a few weeks in and not see progress. We'll be eating the meals and they get so bland over time and we're not seeing the result that we want to see. And it's like, we've got to come to the realization, the acceptance as the soldier, that the effort has to be enough. Be process-oriented and not result-oriented. And if you can truly live with that, the result is out of my control, but the inputs are within my control. If that effort is just enough for you, then you can really enjoy the journey and not worry so much about the destination. So again, just the questions from that is that I'll leave you with is, how much farther in life could we get if we stopped wasting time in the doing nothing bucket and in the fictitious generaling of everyone else's bucket, and we just spent time being a solid general and a solid soldier? And just the Bible verse to meditate on today, it's Luke 12, verses 47 and 48. And it says, "The servant who knows the master's will and does not get greedy or does not do what the master wants will be beaten with many blows. But the one who does not know and does these things, deserving punishment, will be beaten with few blows. From everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded. And from the one who has been entrusted with much, much more will be asked." And when you read those words, it's like Jesus told us how to live until he comes back. We must watch for him, work diligently, obey his commands. And these attitudes are especially necessary for leaders. And again, if you're a leader for your family or for your work or for your church or whatever you're doing, you're going to be given increased opportunities and responsibilities. But the more resources and understanding we have, the more responsible we need to be to use them effectively. It says here in my application study Bible, like, God's not going to hold us responsible for gifts he hasn't given us, but all of us have enough gifts and duties to keep us busy until Jesus returns. So it's like, when you know the good news of Jesus, we need to evangelize. We need to capitalize that. When you have the awareness of what you need to do in your life to overcome and to optimize, you need to capitalize on that. And I think, especially living in America with opportunities and resources that we have, as it says here in verse 48, it's like, "For everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded. And from the one who has been entrusted with much, much more will be asked." So what's that mean for you and me and our lives is, hey, we've got good news. We've got so many resources. We've got opportunities. Be a good general. Be a good soldier. Capitalize daily. See what it does for your life. It's day 43.